Hi everyone, I'm Eva from amomandhercar.blogspot.com and on Instagram at amomandhercar, and this is my 7th Flosstube. Welcome back everyone, thanks for joining me, and welcome to those of you who are new here. I know that, I saw that the Kindred Stitcher gave me a very nice shout out on her channel, on her video this week, and that some of you came over from her channel, and so welcome everyone. It's been a fairly boring week in Texas, which is a good thing. We're kind of tired of, living through catastrophes and historical moments. So boring is right up our alley. Folks who were least lucky in the storms are still dealing very much with their pipes, and some of them redoing much of their entire houses and things like that. But for the rest of us, it was a pretty normal February week, which is my least favorite month to be in Texas. The only thing good about February in Texas is that the month is short. So anyhow, it's almost over, and we can move on to March, and we're getting closer and closer to spring. So since it is the last day of February, I'll do a quick recap. I do set goals each month. It's just how I function in life. So of course I'm going to do it for cross stitching too. My goals for February were to finish the February sampler of the month by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I did that. I also wanted to finish my library for my Spooky Hollow series, and I'll show that today. I got some floss and was able to finish that. I wanted to finish Sew by Row, and not only did I finish it, but I did a fully finished, so you can see it's right there. There's some glare on it. These bookshelves are new. I'm not 100% happy with where they are right now, but they're better than they were last week. So I'll keep working on them. And that Lori Holt piece fit perfectly right there. So that is the one space I am happy with. So that was great. I also wanted to have a new start, and I started Sweetheart Hill, which I'll show you my progress on today as well. And I got a little ahead in my sampler of the month, and I got March finished, which I'll show you. So on today's video, we'll go through the last week's winner for the giveaway. I have 2 finishes to show you. I have a few whips. I have a new start today, which I kind of need some advice on. And then I'm not sure if you heard, but the Steel City Stitchers, I'll put their name here so you can see it, are doing March Madness. It just looks like so much fun, so I'm going to join in. So I'm going to talk through how I plan to approach March Madness. I got a little bit of haul, and of course I always have a wish list going on, and then I do have a giveaway this week. So let's get started. All right, so our giveaway from last week was a kit. I asked about subscription boxes. I am kind of interested in starting a fabric and or floss subscription because I want to build up my stash, but I just can't decide. So of course I've done nothing yet on that. But I did, my very first cross stitch, I'm just covering my address here. My very first cross stitch subscription was to the Geeky Stitcher. And she does these cute little kits. They're perfect for beginners, but they're also just fun for people who want a nice small to work on. And so I had one of these left over. I completely forgot about it. And so I decided to give it away. And the winner is Carol Webster. So Carol, my email address is in the description below. Send me an email with where you want this shipped, and I'll get it right out to you. So that is... it brings me so much joy to do giveaways, so I just love it. All right, so on to the stitching. My finishes this time around. Like I said, I've got a little ahead on the Country Cottage Needleworks sampler of the month. I know it's hard to see. She has these very efficient, cute little patterns. They're easy to tote along, but they're hard to show on Flosstube videos. So this is my 3rd sampler of the month. Where's the front? Where's the back? Here you go, and I'll try to get it up close so you can see some of the details. So I'm doing this as a kit through Fat Quarter Shop. Let me tell my light's going to be annoying today. I'm doing this as a kit through Fat Quarter Shop, and what they did is they had a few fabric choices. I chose 32 count beautiful beige witch helt, and they sent us a nice big piece and a cutting guide. And so at the beginning, back in January or maybe even December, I had these all cut, and I put in a zigzag stitch around the border, which you potentially cannot see. So now I just have a stash of these at least through June. And I just go to my little drawer over there, pull out the fabric when the chart comes in the mail. And I have all of they sent us all of the floss, which is the classic Colorworks, at the beginning. And so it's just ready. This is so easy. This is the easiest year-long stitch along to be a part of. And then they'll send us the rest of the fabric when we need it. And we'll cut it up and serge the edges and then be ready to go. So this is my third one of these, and it is my favorite. So those little leprechaun, ignore their eyes. Their eyes are French knots. I'm still learning how to do French knots. You can see my little guy on that side has one bigger eye. It's totally fine. And then look at the rainbows. And then we have two more leprechauns in their pot of gold, and then that beautiful little border. So this one was, I mean, I sort of like giggled the entire time I was stitching it. Highly recommend. And I saw that Country Cottage Needleworks on their Instagram posted a picture of it April and looks super cute. And so I'm excited to get that in this week and happy to get March finished. I plan on ordering a frame, probably from Etsy, because I've seen on Instagram a couple of cute Etsy frames that people have ordered. And then I'll put each of these on a piece of foam core and switch them out every month. That's what I do with the cottages of the month that I stitched last year. So that is my first finish. My second finish was my library. So technically this was pretty much finished last week when I did my video, but I ran out of colonial copper when I got to this side of the library, this orange color. So it's pretty much done, but I did have to finish up the library. I'll put a picture so you can see where I was last time. I'm a little fumbly today, so sorry about that. There it is, it's all done. So not only did I finish this side of the library, so I got all this colonial copper in, but the other thing that I did is I put more French knots in the cat's eyes. So here's my thing with French knots. They're not my favorite, but I'm not giving up. So every time it's time to do a French knot, I look at it as a learning opportunity. I turn on a tutorial from YouTube and I stitch along with the tutorial, and it takes me a few times until I just give up and say it's good enough. So I did the cat's little eyes there with Queen Bee, finished this side. There were a few books that were colonial copper as well, so I filled those in, and then I did the door handles and I was done. So this one will go away until the end of March. And at the end of March, I'll do the next scene. And I think the next one is the sweet shop. So that'll be fun too. So that is my library from Spooky Hollow. And now onto my whips. So I've mentioned in a previous video that I'm trying to build up my whip stash. Right now I have 6 whips that I'm working on. And I'm hoping to get some good progress in March Madness, which I'll talk about in just a bit. And I worked on 4 this week. So I worked on the March sampler of the month and finished it, and the library and finished it. Those are my 2 stitch alongs that I'm really picky about keeping up with. And I've done a decent job, especially the Spooky Hollow will end in September. So I'm just going to keep starting and finishing those just to, stay focused, because there's a lot of new whips that I'd like to start this year as well. So the third thing I worked on is Sweetheart Hill. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I'm absolutely in love with this Plum Street sampler, Sweetheart Hill. This was my first time stitching on 40 count. So I have a piece of 40 count platinum. And this week I worked on the hill, which is, kind of going on and on, but also fun to stitch. So I'll put a picture of where I was last time. But I made more progress on the hill. I got another one of these little flowers in. This flower gave me grief, and it's not the flower's fault. I kept pulling this out when I was kind of distracted, or I just had a few minutes, and that's okay for the hill. Like, you can easily do fill in on the hill if you just have a few minutes, but the flower, you kind of have to focus, because it's, it just goes up and down and around and that sort of thing. So I think I picked this flower at least 3 times, maybe more. And then the stem below the flower, that little light green color, I think that's Nature's Trail by Classic Colorworks. It was at least 3 times that I picked it. And frankly, this flower's still off a little. It's off by 1 stitch. And I don't care. I'm just going to make it up because there's a lot of room. So all of this is going to be filled in with Oscar by Weeks Dye Works, the rest of that hill. And I'll just make up that stitch there so that I don't throw the house off and everything else. I hope it doesn't throw off the people on top, but 1 stitch, I feel like I can figure it out. And I kind of got tired of restitching the same thing, so I moved on. But I do love that pattern. Again, that was 100% my call. I'm using the called for Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works. There's a few Weeks Dye Works. Oscar is the hill. And I'm kind of worried I'm going to run out of Oscar. So that hill's got to kind of, I mean, that's all I have left. I can go get more, obviously, but the hill's going to have to finish itself up pretty fast. This other Weeks Dye work is Flatfish, which I've never used before. I'm not sure where that will go. I haven't, probably the windows actually. So that's what I'm using. So these are almost all here. I was missing a few colors and I was worried about it at first, but then I realized I have them in another project. So I'm just gonna go pull them when I get to them. I don't even know what they are, but I'm gonna go get them when I need them. So that is Sweetheart Hill. I'm about 20, I would say I'm about 25% complete. That hill is actually bigger. I was actually comparing the hill to the house, because at first I thought, wow, if the hill took me that long, how long would the house take? But really, if you look at that, if you turn that hill on its side, it's almost the same size as the house. So I'm not worried. And I like fill-in. It's kind of meditative. So I'm one of those weird people that like to do fill-in. So I'm looking forward to it. So the last whip that I worked on, I only did a little bit, but I'm just going to keep plugging away at this one. This is, let's see if I have it right side, Milady's Needle, and the sampler is May Peace and Health, and it's such a pretty sampler. This was a stitch along from years ago, well, maybe it was years ago now, at least a year ago, from my local needlework shop, the Snitch Niche. It was my first time stitching on linen, and I never really set a goal for it, so I probably should set a goal for this piece, because if not, I just kind of like do a few flowers at a time or whatever. But what I was able to do this week was another little lion. So before, I'll put a picture up, but I had gotten, this is a page done, and then I spent a few days one week getting these flowers. And then I knew I wouldn't have much time, but I wanted to get at least one motif in. And so I got my little lion guide done yesterday after I finished my library up. So you see here, I am right there in that little thing. And so then I'll move and do these pieces next. But I should probably put some more focused time on that one if I'm ever going to get it done, because I'm just picking away at like one little motif, which is fine. I mean, I don't have a huge goal on that one, so I'm not too worried about it, but you know, one little line at a time will take quite a while to get that sampler done. And it's not a really big sampler, so anyhow, just thoughts to myself about putting more time into that. Then I did have a new start this morning. So you may have seen Evelyn across the pond and Georgia Girl Stitcher are doing sort of a very informal stitch along with Madame Chantilly, and they are doing winter. But the idea is you can do any Madame Chantilly that you want for the stitch along. And again, it's very informal. You kind of just do what you have or what you want to do. There's no real schedule, but I've wanted to try these for a while, so it was really just a good opportunity to do that. So I'm going to do the spring tiered tray. I ordered this from Madame Chantilly's Instagram, and what happens is you can order like the paper chart and she'll mail it to you, but I just thought since she's in a different country with the pandemic, this might take a while, and so she has an option to do a PDF, and you just message her and she marks it up for you so that it's your, this is like my copy, so to avoid copyright infringement, and then it was a download, so that was great. So I have that PDF chart, and then I got this is a big stitch, and I've seen people say this on Instagram and Flosstube, but I mean, this is the size it will be, that tiered tray. So I've got to think about what I want to do with this, especially if I do more than one. And I know some people have decided to take the word off the bottom. I kind of thought about that. So instead of saying spring, you would just have the tray. And then she has lots of these. So she has not just the 4 seasons, but then she has like Halloween and 4th of July and things like that. So I thought about that, but I went ahead and started. I like to start in the bottom right of the piece. And I'm pretty sure I said this is 40 count flax, but just in case I didn't, that's what my fabric is. And then I'm using the called for DMCs. And I was excited because I had most of these. I mean, I think I had to go get a few on a Michael's trip or something. And then, but here's where I need the advice. I started it. That's the G in spring. And I was thinking as I was stitching this G, I thought, it's not showing up very much. And I don't think it has to be bright. Like you can see her charts aren't necessarily like super bright in the colors. I mean, they're supposed to be a little muted and nice, and especially this one is spring colors. But I started thinking, you know what, this Gentle Arts chalk, the Gentle Art chalk, I was like, oh, if I had stitched that G in this, it would show up so much better. And I was like, well, I'm not picking this entire G, so maybe next time. And then when I was doing the last little bit of the G, I realized it's off somewhere. So maybe I will be picking the G. And if I do pick the G, I'm kind of thinking that I replace it with chalk. And I have a couple of extra skeins of this from the Chalkful series that I've finished. There's always extra. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, let me know. But then here's what I think is going to happen. If I replace this one, then when I start on that super cute chart, I'll start wanting to replace all of them with over dyed threads. So there's where I am. I have no real goal for this piece. Oh, actually I do. I want to finish this tray in 2021. So I kind of told myself if I'm going to start this one, I'm going to try to finish it in 2021 and definitely finish it before I get any of the other trays. And we'll see what I end up doing with my different color choices. I am using another one of these Sullivan's 28 cal ballpoint needles, which I love. You can see the little edge, the little ball on the edge. And this is the giveaway today. So I'll get to that during my haul because I ordered an extra pack of these, both for myself and as the giveaway. So if you have been interested in trying those yourself, that is the giveaway today. So all in all, I've had 6 starts in 2021. I have 6 whips. I've had 7 finishes, which isn't bad. And I have 5 kitted up and lots of plans to start digging into those that are kitted up and some ideas of pieces that I want to order as well. I'm sure none of you understand that. So next, I want to talk about my March plans. So I kind of had March all scheduled out and whatever. And then I saw the on Instagram and then on Flosstube that the Steel City Stitchers were doing March Madness. So here's a picture of their bracket. And you should go watch their video. I will link it below so you can understand sort of how it started. But what I'm going to talk you through today is how I'm approaching this, which I think is fairly close with a few nuances to how they explained it in their Flosstube, but there's no rules of this. I mean, this is kind of like Mania. Do what works for you. So here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to keep stitching. So March, this technically starts tomorrow, March 1st. I'm going to keep stitching on my spring Madame Chantilly tray for a few days. So I'm going to give myself today, Monday and Tuesday on that because I want to get a good start, especially now that I'm having to pick that G. I'm glad I made this decision. So the idea is usually you would either do a new start or a new whip every day for several days, and then they battle it out and one gets to move to the next round and you get to spend another day on it. So that's kind of the idea behind this March Madness. So, but I'm going to stick with spring tray for a few days to kind of give it a good start. Then its battle partner is my Hello Halloween by Sue Hillis Design. And so my other thinking with this is not only am I going to get some good starts, but I'm also going to get some progress on my whips this month doing this. And it's going to be a little fun because I'm never going to know like who's going to win and what I'm going to get to work on more. So on this one, I want to start the truck. So I've done, again, I like to start at the bottom right. This is Fabric Flare 14 count. I think it's called Ginger Snap. Fabric Flare is super fun to stitch on. I want to try some of their linen. Anyhow, so I've done the banner at the bottom, and then I want to start the truck, even if I just got a few threads in it, because the 3rd will be a weeknight. So I'm trying to be realistic with what I'm actually going to be able to do. So I'll just do whatever I can for one night on this truck. And I'm just using the call for DMCs. There's fun Halloween colors in there. So that is my first battle with March Madness. Then I'm going to move on and do on the 4th, I will do Chockfull. I'm getting really close in Chockfull. So I've stitched a couple of these and I may do a couple more. So, but I'm on Harvest right now. I've already done Boo and I've done the Easter one, Hop, I think. Although I've lost my Easter one, so I need to go through my Easter decorations and find it. But now I'm working on Harvest. I'm going to focus on getting the rest of these leaves in when I pull it out, and hopefully I can get to the jar because there's just a few leaves. So that would be my goal. This one actually goes pretty quickly now that I'm to the last few colors. So I don't know, that one has a chance of being finished. And I am using the Classic Colorworks. I don't have these on a ring for some reason that are called for with this project. So that is the first of the second battle. And then I have a new start, which is Winter Rose Manor. And I'm super excited about this one. What out here? I'm just looking at my notes as well to make sure I'm saying everything. So this is Brenda Gervais. You're certainly not seeing it here first. This is a very popular one. I'm seeing it all over Instagram and Flosstube. This will be a gift for my stepmom. So it has this beautiful cardinal in it, and she is from Illinois, a big fan of the St. Louis Cardinals, and her mom always said that Cardinals, and I've heard this before, are your loved ones who have passed on, who are visiting you, and her mom died a few years ago, and so she talks about, like, this is really meaningful to her, and she brings that up a lot. And so when she sees a cardinal, you know, it's her mom visiting her. And so I thought this would be a really pretty birthday gift. Her birthday is next March, and so I'm sort of starting it this March in honor of her birthday, and my goal is to have it finished by next March. Fire Poppies helped me kit this up because it has quite a few different threads and linen. You know, the called for, I think, is beeswax, if I remember. And it's really hard to find that right now. So I got a piece of 40 count R&R Winter's Brew from Fire Poppies. It's very pretty. Very pretty color. So I think it'll look great on that. And let's see here. They also helped me kit up the floss. It's basically the called for colors. But substitutions had to be made because, you know, not everybody has all the floss. This is the one I was thinking. So I think the called for the house is, I cannot remember, conch maybe? And I wanted mine pinker. And so I've seen all over the place, Instagram, all kinds of different places, maybe even Lori Holt's Flosstube, that Meredith's pink was a good substitution to make it pinkier. And this is a really variegated strand of floss, so I'm excited to start that. So that will be my battle between Chockfull and Winter Rose Manor. That's my second battle. Then my third battle will be an old whip that I've brought out several times. It's sort of just lingering along. I have no real goal for this whip, but it is my Mistletoe Lane, which was a stitch along from Fat Quarter Shop last July, I think, for Kim Jolly's Jolly July. I am not making good progress on this, which is why I put this on the list. So I will go, I'm just using the call for DMCs. This is 25 count pewter Lugana fabric. And so I'll just try to get more of that border done, maybe even finish it depending on, I think I have one day to spend on this. And my next new start is my Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along. So I kept seeing this on, I've said this in other videos, I kept seeing this on Stitcher MD, and she just, you know, when she pulls it out, you can just see how much she loves it. She talks about how much she loves stitching it. So then I started following the hashtag on Instagram, which I'll put in the description box below, and everybody who posts this talks about how much they love it. So I jumped on the bandwagon. So this will be my start. I will give myself a few days, and on Winter Rose Manor, I'll give myself a few days as well, because it is a new start and I want to give, you know, I want to put more than like a strand of floss in it. And so I'll do this on the 7th and 8th. I have a piece of platinum 40 count. Very pretty neutral color. I'm stitching a lot of different things on platinum right now, or a few different things, not a lot. And I'm using Jacob's called for DMCs. He's posted these on Instagram. It's these blue colors. So if you look at this together, I just pulled that DMC out. So now it's distracting me. So what I was planning to do, I love the color. So I saw this is what attracted me to it. That fabric, those blues. And I already had most of these DMCs in my stash actually, and I just had a few extra that I had to go and buy. But then I thought, well, I'm going to do this over 3 years. So I'm going to do, instead of it being a monthly style, I'm going to do it a quarter. So I'll start the first little piece this quarter, and then next quarter I'll try to start the next piece, etc. So it'll take me 3 years to finish it. So I thought, well, maybe I'll go get some silks to try, because I don't know if I'm going to be with it for 3 years. So I went to my little stitch shop, my local stitch shop, the Stitch Niche, and I looked through all their silks, but there was nothing that I liked better than the DMC. So, and I talked to the lady there, and she's like, you know, you're going to need a lot of thread for this. So just be sure before you buy, which was really nice of her, before you buy all these silks, that's what you want. So at the end of the day, I think I'm sticking with the DMCs. We'll see. I have until, I pause like that because I'm not sure. I have until, next weekend to decide, but I think I'm going to stick with the DMCs. But they do look great on that fabric. And look, that's what Jacob's using. So he knows colors and design better than me, I can assure you. So that is my third battle. Let me see here. My fourth battle is my Peace and Health sampler, which I showed you earlier, and a new start. So I told you I have 5 things kitted up. I have to decide before next weekend what my new start will be, and so I'll show it then. I'm just not 100% sure yet. And then the idea is I will come back on the 13th, and I will stitch one day on the winner of the first battle between Hello Halloween and Spring Tray. Then on the 14th, I will stitch one between Chockful and Winter Rose, whoever wins the battle. And I should have explained, winning the battle, I'm just going to put the names of them like in a cup and like draw it out, like drawing out of a hat basically, and that's the winner. So that's a little bit of excitement there. And then on the 15th, I'll stitch the winner between Mistletoe Lane and the Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along, the Fruits of Plenty. And then on the 16th, I'll stitch the winner between my May Peace and Health sampler and whatever new start I have on the 11th. And then there's the face off. So I'll pick the winner between those winners. You need to go watch Steel City Stitchers. You got to go watch their video. Don't try to figure this out based on what I'm saying here. There's one additional caveat, but the idea is that either one of my whips makes it to the end, and I will put at least one strand per day in that whip until the end of the month, or until it's done. Like if Chockful gets up, I don't think I would need that full month. So starting on the 19th, I would be able to put one strand in it. Or if it's a new start, I would put one strand in it through the rest of the month, which will really sort of give me a lot of momentum on that piece. The Steel City Stitchers are stitching where you pick one and you FFO it. So not only do you finish it through the rest of the month, but you fully finish it. I'm not committing to that because You'll see here on this chart, I also have to finish my April sampler of the month, and I have to finish my Spooky Hollow candy shop. Like I'm going to keep up with those stitches. So I'll have 2 finished objects. And then the third thing I'll have as part of my goal for March is either a whip that's made a lot of progress or a new start that gets a lot of good attention and then can go into my whip rotation going forward. So that is how I'm playing along with the Steel City Stitchers and their March Madness. I feel like that was a little confusing, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to stitch a lot. I mean, that's what's going to happen in March. And it'll be a little exciting because a few days of the month I won't know exactly what I'll be stitching on, so that's fun. Okay, so now let me move on to haul. So I did Flosstube number 6. I got some haul from Fire Poppies. I'm a devoted customer to that shop. They're so nice, responsive, fast. And they put candy in their packages. So, I mean, I don't know what else you need from a stitching shop. So my Flosstube number 6 was sort of an unboxing Flosstube where I show you my package I got from them. So you can go look at my haul from there is the point I'm trying to make. And then I did get some haul from Fat Quarter Shop. So the first thing I got was my, I went on to order Colonial Copper for my Spooky Hollow Stitch Along. And I could have left it at that, but who wants to pay shipping for just one item? So I got a few other things. So like I mentioned, I ordered 2 of these. Everything's going to come flying out of my package, and I can't find the second one, but one of these is the giveaway today. And at the end, I'll tell you the question to answer and the word to put in. So generally, my approach to giveaways is when a chart brings me joy, I'm going to order 2, like I'm excited about it or what have you, I'm going to order 2 and give one away. And that's just fun for me. But these have given me so much joy, especially stitching on those 40 count fabric. I'm a new 40 count fabric stitcher. If anybody wants to try them, I thought I'm just going to order a second one. So this is size 28 Sullivan's Easy Guide ball tip needle. And that is the giveaway today. That's my first piece of haul. And then this is a contender. Let me make sure I'm not showing you the chart for my last new start that was undecided on my March Madness. This is the Scarlett House's Seeking Refuge, and I ordered 2. One will be a giveaway at some point. I love this one. It's a mix of DMC, Weeks Dye Works, and a few one Classic Color Works, Cherry Cobbler, and maybe 2, I don't know. And then 1 or 2 of the Gentle Arts threads. The saying on it says, "When the world seems to be out of control, I find a way to nurture my soul, seeking refuge with needle and thread. The angst and anxiety no longer I dread." And I think that's why a lot of us stitch. Like that's our meditation. And our yoga all wrapped into one when you have to bend down to pick up your needle. So it's very a relaxing, stretching activity. And you can do all this like personalization at the top. So I'm really excited about this one. The called for, it was stitched on 40 count Newcastle Country Mocha linen. And this feels like the designer at the Scarlett House just went to their stash because there's 310 DMC, there's Weeks Dye Works, and Classic Color Works, a little Gentle Art. So anyhow, this is a contender for March Madness, my 4th start on there. So I'm so glad that I noticed that one on their website and ordered it. And then, oh yes, this is probably will not start this one yet, but I ordered 2 copies of Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Design. Again, this is super popular. Everyone's stitching it seems like. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze, so maybe I just sneezed, so I'm going to try to edit that out. So Oh Joyous Days by Blackbird Designs. Just ordered that chart. This one is absolutely beautiful. It has a long list of threads. That's why I'm kind of like, maybe I'll wait on this one a little while. It was stitched on 36 count Legacy by Picture This Plus. My guess is you can't get that. Maybe I'm wrong, but Picture This Plus seems hard to find. And it's a mix of Gentle Arts, Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works. There is a DMC conversion. And she even, okay, here's what's next. I think I can show this. I won't, just in case. I'm kind of weird about that. I just want to be sure. So here's one thing she does say. She asterisks the flosses that she suggests you could easily do a DMC, just use DMC instead of getting these. So I just now noticed that. So that makes me feel better about this. So maybe I'll just look at my stash and see how many DMCs I have. But this one's so beautiful, and so I can't wait to start it. So that is my haul. And then I put one more thing in my haul section that I don't know if this counts as haul or not, but I was watching Momma Loves You GB, who I love. She inspires me to do a lot. And she mentioned this chart, and I'll put the link below. This is Inspiration Quaker Mary Rose by, and I'm not even going to say the name, I'm just going to put it up here for you so you can see. And then the link to this is a freebie, will be in the description box. And I don't know, so I think she said this says, I don't think I'm reading it here for you. This was stitched on Edinburgh linen, Zweigart, and I cannot remember. It's DMC. There's a DMC conversion. This may also be other threads, but it is in a language that I do not read. So anyhow, the chart is, so this is free. Again, the chart is kind of hard to read. It's pretty small. And so if you're one of those folks who do charts on your iPad or your tablet, this would be a good one to do that. And I might, if I do jump into this one, which I'm really thinking about because it's really pretty, then I would probably not use the paper chart, which is my preference, and I would just use my tablet, which is totally fine as well. So that is my haul for today. So a few things that I have my eye on. So I'm starting to think about Mania. And last year I participated in Mania, and I think I started 4 new projects, 1 a week. I can't remember what they are. Who knows? Anyhow, this year I've noticed that the new 2021 Prairie Schooler Santa came out, and he's very cute, and he's holding a raccoon and an owl, and he has a dog, or like he's an animal lover's dream, and I'm an animal lover. So, and I've been wanting to stitch the Prairie Schoolers for some time now. I have a few. I have 2020 and like a 2013, some random one. So I thought, well, I'm not going to start, I never will probably start 31 projects in May. Like that's just, I would get overwhelmed. That's outside of my budget. I don't have a big enough stash to pull from, but I could start like 10 Prairie Schoolers or something like that, because I already have I have enough scrap fabric that I could stitch them on scraps. And that is what I want to do with these. So I want to have some on 40 count, some on 36, some on 28, some on 14 of that neutral background. And I want to make them into little pillows and have like a big, I have this all in my head. In my head, I have all these little pillows of Prairie Schooler Santas that I sit out at Christmas. And I know exactly where I would set it. So that's sort of my end goal. And I'm fine if that takes years to accomplish. But I thought, well, Mania, I could do one every other day or something like that. So that is something I'm keeping my eye on. And then when I was watching the Kindred Stitcher, so I've been really interested in Consider the Lilies by Heartstring Sampler here. I'll put the picture up here for you. I'm watching Jen at 24 Hours of Cross Stitch this one, and her mom, of course. And then when I was at the Stitch Niche this weekend, I saw this, I picked it up, and then I looked at the stitch count and I put it back down. So, but go watch the Kindred Stitcher's video, because one of the things if you're interested in this pattern, one of the things she was talking about, I believe she started it, if I'm remembering correctly, and she's sort of challenging herself to do, excuse me, it must be like high pollen out there today. So she's challenging herself to do like 1 motif a day to sort of keep this on track. And even if you do 1 little motif and maybe you save some of the bigger ones for the weekend or something like that. So go watch her explanation. It's much better than what I just said. And I started thinking this would be a good mania. That could be a good thing for me for mania, since I get overwhelmed by starting so many projects. So I could do a couple of things. I could start the border of this piece in April, and then in May, every day, maybe I could keep with my regular stitching, but I also stitch one of those little motifs. Or if I don't want to even start it in April, if I just want to wait, I was looking at that border, and each flower could be a day in the border, and at least I get a really nice start on this one. Maybe this could be my mania piece like every year for 5 years or something. Like, I don't know. It's so pretty. I want to start it, and I could do the Prairie Schoolers for Jolly July. So anyways, that's just what I'm thinking right now. All right, so let's, I think we can wrap this video up because I feel like I've been rambling for 40 minutes. So let's do that. We do have a giveaway. In order to be eligible for the giveaway, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and answer a question, which I'm about to tell you, and put the word needle in your comment. So I use an online random comment picker, and they say, what word would you like to search for? And I'm going to put the word needle, since we're doing these ball tip needles here. But you do need to answer the question. Be sure you're subscribed and like the video. And thank you to anyone for shouting my channel out. I'm new at this. I kind of thought like 3 or 4 people might watch, and I was totally fine with that. This is more like a journal for me, but now it's kind of exciting when people are starting to subscribe. So, you know, feel free to tell your friends about me. Or after today's video rambling, feel free to not do that. It's totally up to you. All right, so the question is, I am trying to build up my whip stash. I want more whips to be able to pull from and that sort of thing. And so what is your favorite thing you're stitching on now, have ever stitched on, or are you eyeballing? Again, I'm kind of into samplers right now, but I think you see from my projects, I do a mix of things. I love Halloween. I love the housewives, you know, I love little smalls because they help me stay motivated. So just put your favorite stitch. I mean, you can interpret that question however you want. Subscribe, like the video, put the word needle into your answer. And look, I think that's all I got for you this week. Sorry that I rambled on for so long, and I will be back next week with another video. And, you know, go find me on Instagram. I'd love to see what you're working on. If you have a Flosstube, please mention it in the comments, and I would love to go and follow you, because that's really why I'm doing this, is for the community piece and getting to know other stitchers and following your progress as well as sharing mine. So have a great week. See you next week in March. Happy stitching.